If you're struggling to find your very first storage facility, it's not your fault. You just haven't been taught this one thing. And so what we're going to be doing in this webinar, we're going to break it down, how to actually find off-market storage deals. And it's not by using on-market Crexy or LoopNet. And so stay with me. If you guys actually show up live to this webinar, we will give you our 5-page self-storage cheat sheet on how to actually find these deals and make them a win-win. So make sure you guys click the link below, show up, put this on your calendar. Can't wait to see you there. So welcome back to the channel, and I'm so excited to show you guys. So we've been working for 4 months on an AI underwriting toolset for self-storage. And this toolset's gonna help you underwrite deals 10 times faster within 30 seconds. And so this is the neatest thing ever. We're calling it the Storage Boss Bot. And what you can do is literally drop your OM or offer memorandum or address into the self-storage bot, and it will calculate like, what is that facility worth today, what it could be worth in 3 to 5 years, and is it actually in a good market, and what are the 3 offers? Most you guys first-time self-storage investors, they go so much into the weeds on how to analyze a self-storage deal that they spend like 4 hours to 4 days, and by that time they've already lost the deal. And so this storage AI bot and tool set is actually going to help you 10 times faster understand, like, is this deal actually worth pursuing? And so we call this the filter here. And so is it actually in a good market, right? So is it with a population that is actually growing? Is it stagnant? Is it going to be like around a data center? Is the market going to have a median household income over $50,000? These are all things that matter. And so we need to assess this first and then deep dive into the things that actually are the numbers that will say yes or no or a number, right? And so number one is, what is that facility actually worth based on its gross income? And so this bot will actually calculate it so fast by saying like, hey, this is the value on the table. This is what the owner is actually missing out on. And this is how you can capitalize by adding that value when you purchase this facility. And so you will actually see the gap and also the gain where you can take advantage of this and increase the value to 2x on what you actually bought it for. So this storage deal looked amazing on paper, but there was so much that you would actually miss if you were looking at it from black and white perspective. And so this was a deal in Kansas City. It was like 15,000 square feet, and we put it into the Storage AI bot, which is a tool set that we use to underwrite deals 10 times faster. And what we saw was incredible. So even though it would cash flow, it wasn't going to cash flow enough when you owned it 3 to 5 years. And so the reason for this is actually the market. And so in that city where it was located, the market was stagnant. It was not actually growing. And so one big red flag right there is that you are going to have a lot of hard time pushing rates, especially with number 2, which was there was so much storage facilities all around it. Even though it was on a main road, there was totally other competitors that were that market rate. And so no matter how much you put dollars into marketing, it was going to be really, really hard to fill it up. And so this was something that you really need to look at in order to say no to this deal. And so even though you were able to push rates a little bit and maybe expand with self-storage, this deal was already dead within like 5 minutes of looking at it, all because we put it into the Storage AI bot toolset, as well as looked at the underwriting toolset I together. One of our students that were going to go buy a self-storage facility went to go visit and meet the owner and shake their hands. And just while that visit was happening, they were building that relationship, and they came back after looking at that storage deal with a lot of like, hey, I don't know if this is the right deal for me. And the reason for this, we want to look at it, is that it had a little bit more, like I would say, rough around the edges, right? It needed more value add. It needed more a paint job. It needed more than it actually, they thought it what was worth. And so at this point in time, you have to take a look at this deal and you're like, hey, should I come back to the owner and say, I'm only allowed to pay this because I value it at X? Or you actually say, hey, this is not actually a deal that I want to do, and it's not worth pursuing because it has all been juiced. And so you really need to understand when you go into a deal, you need to stick to your intuition where, hey, this is what I really would like. This is what's exciting. This is the realistic offer. And then this is like the worst case scenario. And I always say to my students, never buy a facility if you can't make your worst case scenario. And if that worst case scenario does not excite you. And I'm going to say this one more time. A storage owner can't say yes to an offer they do not have physically in their hand. And so this is an example of a student that wanted to buy this storage facility, and he was like, oh, it's too much, I'm not gonna put an offer. And so I actually challenged him. I said, hey, you need to submit an offer, because an offer actually shows you that you value it at X. And you never know, like right now in this market, it is a buyer's market. And so what happened, even though the owner and the broker said, hey, no, we're not gonna take your offer, guess what? 4 months later, the offer actually fell through at $1.8 million in Texas. And so that broker came back to one of our students and said, hey, will you buy this facility based on this offer? And so we were actually able to negotiate this deal down to close it at $1.5 million. And the reason for this was because it fell out of contract. And this is happening a lot right now. And this storage owner had a big pain. Like his wife had cancer, sadly, and he's like, I need to sell my facility, and I need to do it now so that I can pay for her chemo and go retire and live our best lives. And so what I wanted to say is that you need to make sure that even though you're doing all the analysis in the world, that you're actually submitting offers that matter, because even though it's a no now, you might come back and follow up 4 months later and still get that deal. So the opportunity here at hand is that you guys, 65% of self-storage owners are still mom and pop. And so if you don't hear that, that is a big opportunity on the table from baby boomers who've owned it their whole lives or for more than 10 years, and they want to retire. And so I was cold calling with my storage school students. I do this every Thursday for about 2 hours. And what was astonishing is that we cold called in Texas, and about 1/3 of them actually picked up the phone. And so this is huge, because when you don't pick up the phone or your phone number is disconnected, there's no way that you're gonna get leads. And so that can indicate that these owners are unsophisticated, or they don't care because they're already full. And so what's fascinating is if you can find that owner, that is the big golden ticket, is if you can actually go in on Google Maps, find that facility number, get in contact with that owner and say, hey, I'd love to make you an offer. You can buy that facility and add value, which is technology. You guys, technology right now, especially in 2026, as we have AI coming on to the channels, is going to be so huge, because there's no reason why a mom and pop owner should not be answering the phone, because they've already lost that sale. In 2 minutes, they've already gone to someone else. And so this is a huge advantage, is looking at how we can actually make storage facilities more easy with their systems, and then add that technology onto it so that it becomes a better customer service. And as you add better customer service, your actually value doubles in the long run. So if you're wanting to learn more about self-storage, make sure to stay tuned to our channel, as we're going to be talking about AI and how AI will be affecting our self-storage industry into the future. So AI is taking away people's jobs like every single minute, but AI will actually not take away self-storage. People are always going to need more things, right? So I just got Amazon packages, like 3 of them today. And so we are in a consumer economy where we want things, and we want things now. And so the easy button gets to be putting our stuff in storage. And so when you are moving, we call these the 4Ds, right? People use storage in an up market, a down market, and a sideways market. They also use it when they are moving, when they sadly have a death in the family, if they're going to college, or they're decluttering, or they're downsizing. And so these are very important pieces, because AI is only going to make storage business owners more money. And this is the biggest thing, is that if you are a true owner, and that is our goal, is making more storage owners in this world, you're going to be able to use AI to decrease your expenses and then increase your revenue. And so we're actually using a lot of different AI products right now, which is like we're trialing an AI storage voice, where on our off hours, this AI voice will actually pick up any calls that we get. And so we'll never miss a call. And these calls are recorded. So we're actually understanding, what do people actually want in that market, and how can we deliver it to them even better? The third thing that we're doing with AI right now is we're actually listening in on some of these, and we're saying, oh wow, insulation's falling down on unit 12. I need to go and make sure that insulation is done right, and we'll reach out to that person before they call again and they're upset. And so AI is only going to make storage business owners more money in the long run. And so making sure that you are on top of it and you're utilizing it, you're not scared of it, but you're utilizing it as a tool set so that you can increase your ownership and then take yourself to that next level. There's a huge difference between a doer and an action taker and someone that is passively learning. And so when people come into the self-storage school, we only take action takers, but what sets them apart is that the actual urgency. We tell them in the first 6 weeks, like, we're gonna teach you how to find storage, analyze it, and submit offers. And so they have to analyze and submit an offer within 6 weeks, not in a 9 months, it's 6 weeks. And so what this does is it allows you to say, hey, I'm gonna go find someone that wants to sell or raise their hand, and I'm gonna send them a good offer. And so this is so huge because people try to figure out A to Z. They try to figure out how to find deals, analyze it, and also how to operate it, and then they just stop, right? That's analysis paralysis. And so our students are really good at going out there saying, hey, okay, this owner wants an offer. Hey, Bree, what do you do now? Like, that's what we want our students to do is, hey, what do I do now? And so they're causing good problems. Like, go cause good problems and ask good questions and then bring them back to me, and I'm gonna help you solve that. And so that is why the self-storage school exists, is that we can do deals together, as well as we want to actually make more storage owners that are cash flowing. So I get this question all the time, and it's like, can I actually buy a storage facility? Like, can I buy a facility that's worth, $500,000 or less or more? And the biggest part is we did our storage school workshop. And so I taught this technique where on Facebook, you can actually reach out to storage owners. And we did this for 30 minutes. And our students got 5 owners within that time frame that actually DM'd them online and said, hey, yeah, I'd be open to an offer. What's your offer? And that's what we want you to do, is we want you to go cause these problems and be very, very different in how you're looking at talking to owners and building relationships, so that people can just raise their hand. And then now you can come back to us and say, hey, Bree, okay, I've got a storage owner that raised their hand. How do I send them an offer, right? And so we've been actually sending offers fast this past week, and more people are starting to raise their hand because right now it's a buyer's market. Lots of storage owners want to know what their facility is worth today, and they're open to actually looking at seller financing and selling. And so making sure that you're not missing this, because a lot of people have their pencils down right now. You want to be in the mix, understanding what is that facility worth and how can I send a good offer. One of the biggest words that we've been talking about in storage school is called ROR, which means a return on relationships. Not a return on investment, but a return on relationships, because that is 10x more. And so right now our storage school students are like closing deals so much faster than other people because they're building these relationships with the owner. And so when someone wants an offer, they actually, I'm like, go shake their hand, take them to lunch, right? Get to know who they are and what their business means to them, so that you guys can know, like, and trust and connect, right? So that is a huge thing, is when you have that advantage, drive there, even if it's 2 hours, or if it's a plane flight. One of our students went from California to go shake a storage owner's hand in North Carolina. Like, that made all the difference and sealed the deal. So remember, every single time, it's less about always buying that storage facility, but being curious, asking good questions, and then also saying a return on relationships always gives you what you need. So don't fall into this trap. One of my self-storage school students almost did this. And so what that is actually when you want to submit an offer to a storage owner, it's always good to submit like 2 to 3 offers in front of them, including a seller financing. So one thing that you should not be doing is send an offer and then say, okay, I like that offer. Like, let's sign it. Let's sign that letter of intent and go ahead and sign it. And then come back later and saying, oh, I should have sent him, or how can I get to, get that owner to say yes to a seller financing offer? It's already been done, right? Like, the LOI has already been signed, the owner's happy. It's gonna be 10x harder to then come back and want a seller financing deal. And so making sure that you do this in the right way, and to never like out negotiate yourself, because that is the biggest thing you wanna set yourself up for success, is by saying, hey, all 3 offers work. Which one of these offers are best suited for you, right? And normally you want to educate the seller financing one is, because, hey, Mr. Owner, you can be the bank and make the interest too, and make over the amount of money that you want to actually make. And that is huge, right? With less time and less risk. And so one of the biggest things is never out negotiate yourself. Make sure if you're going to send them an offer, those are the offers that you're looking at, and you can't go back on that offer, okay? So yes, there is such a thing as retrading, which is something that is also a little bit of a no-no in self-storage. you really want to make sure you do the retrading in a right way. So if an owner does not, disclose certain things to you on purpose, and you figure that out during due diligence, you can come up and be like, hey, the facts are, right, that I discovered this, and this is what's really going on, and that affects the valuation of the storage facility. And so therefore, we need to take $100,000 off this deal in order to get it done. There's a right way we want to approach it and the wrong way we want to approach it.